Oh, hello everybody. Come in. Welcome, welcome. Man, I am beat. But it was worth it. I'm cold, I'm tired, I'm hungry, but it was worth it. Because they won. They actually won and they played really well. So that's all good. I don't think anyone had a bad performance today. They were all really good. They were all good. Considering now I know some of the squad watch this, that's even better. Thanks, guys. Hello to you all. So yeah, that was really good. The formation first and foremost was the surprise that started because obviously we're used to seeing either a 4-3-3 or a 3-4-3, and to go with like a 4-4-2-4 or like a 4-2-2-2, depending on how you wanted to class it. But basically on the ball, Derby had Shinnie and Bird in the middle, and then just Lawrence, Wycorn, Gregory, and Sibley out on the out on the right. And it was a bold choice, and Rooney's reasoning afterwards kind of backed up why he went that way, because he said to the players that they have to get 3 points out of this game. Um, and yeah, kind of agree with him. They really needed this one. Um, no winning seven. The game against Stoke was pretty pitiful. To register just five shots on target, but that's gone. It's in the bin. They've had 2 weeks of training where they got a lot of ideas through, and I'm not sure exactly what they were working on, but it looked like they worked on moving the ball quicker, particularly getting the ball out wide, and playing the ball forward through the middle. So Max Bird was really really good today. He looked to play the ball through the lines quicker, and he looked to play the ball out wide quicker as well. And even himself making runs and trying to break the lines. There was one that he tried to get on, and I think the ball just kind of cannoned off him a little bit, and he was really frustrated at that. But making that forward run and into that space where we don't usually see him make those runs was really really good. Yeah, I mean, like David Marshall had two things to do really, which were two very good saves. He needed to do those things, but outside of that, I can't really remember him needing to do anything. But those two moments, he really did need to come good. Now, the first one is a very good save, but part of it's a poor finish as well. It's a really good counter attack from Luton. To be fair, they spring and Matt Clark gets his legs twisted up a little bit, and then Andre Wisdom is isolated, kind of 3 versus 1, while Derby try and get back in, and Luton actually work it really well across. And Marshall's starting position is pretty good, and then he comes out, but the finish is so. And then the other one from the cross comes in from the left, and he gets a flick header on there, and he has to kind of palm it away. It was at a nice height for him, admittedly, but still had to be switched on for those. Adebayo had a pretty decent game. His finishing was so when he got in the areas, but he was a good physical presence. And I thought when Luton did some good things, I thought he was kind of at the hub of that. Tom Lawrence got his first start since December. I want to say December. He was pretty good. He was pretty good. Did some typical sort of Tom Lawrence things, both good and bad, that are typical. So he wins. What I like about him is he always will try and take on his man. He'll always try and take on his man. Whether he wins that battle or loses that battle, he'll always try and take them on. He lost a couple in the first half down on the left where he got a little bit frustrated and lost the ball a couple of times. But then in the second half, he found his groove a little bit and was taking on players left, right, and centre, and earns the penalty through that. Defensively was pretty good, condensed the formation when he had to. He was good. I thought he looked to go on the inside a bit, but that's natural because of his stronger foot. But I think he is all right when he gets down on the outside and always makes them defend that space. Honestly, I thought Sibley on the right was really good. Aggressive with the ball, dribbled at his man, and then when you've got Byrne going on the overlap or even on the underlap, really, really good. And it was Sibley. Was it Sibley's ball for the first goal as well? I think it was Sibley. I think it was Sibley's crossing for the first goal. He was very good. He was a lot more effective on there than he is on the left. So maybe perhaps prefers where he can cut inside onto his stronger foot and drift a little bit. But yeah, I thought Sibley was good. I thought Sibley and Byrne were really, really good. Byrne was pretty much all action again. Bernie's just a really, really good player for Derby. Showed his chops both defensively and going forward. Got a little bit frustrated towards the end of the game, and I think he had a right to be because I think what's his name, Dewsbury Hall. I think Dewsbury Hall was lucky to stay on the pitch. Now I saw him. You know, Burn has hold of the guy's leg, but then the guy just kind of like falls on him, and it looks like gives him like a UFC like arm to the face. Now that's all I saw, but that was enough for me to be like, well, you're probably off. And I think that both got yellows was yeah. One of those deserved a yellow, and it was Nathan Burns' challenge and then grabbing hold of the leg. I think Luton were lucky to stay on with 11 there. Poor Martin Waghorn, man. Poor Martin Waghorn. He was excellent. Absolutely excellent when he was on the field. He was so good. His movement inside the box was great. He was nearly always lurking at the far post. Lee Gregory kind of took the front post and he was at the back post, but he was moving a lot. And then when Lawrence was kind of drifting at the far post, Wycombe would, he'd dart across his defender. His movement was so good. His work rate, I never questioned his work rate. His work rate is always good. And he was a problem. He was a problem out there. He was pressing really well. He was starting to press really well. He chasing defenders down, and then bang, just like that, when he is chasing a defender down, really trying to make his impression on the game. It was he does his hamstringing, and we hope it's not serious. He will almost certainly not play on Monday. Ditto Lee Gregory. Rooney said in the press afterwards. And yeah, that just sucked. It was such a kick in the bollocks for him as well, because obviously dropped for Stoke because of behavioural problems. Comes back in, and Rooney said he'd had an excellent 2 weeks of training, gets the start, and you think, okay, wicked, wallop. And then, he plays a big hand in the goal, was a problem, all the entire first half. And then, to get injured like that, it's so shit. It's so bad for him, man. It's so bad. I really, really feel for him. And it just sucked. You really wanted him to do well, and to particularly get a good run of games under him towards the end of the season as well. And yeah, that one kind of sucked. I just think everyone was good today. It's hard to single out any particular. The incident at the end of the game was weird. I think something was said. Rooney said he'd not spoken to Colin about it. Rooney actually said he didn't see it because he went straight down the tunnel. He joked that, well, I don't think it was a joke. He said usually he goes on the pitch and shakes the ref's hand, but he said he didn't feel the ref deserved a handshake today. He is not afraid to speak his mind about officials, and he kept receipts about this official as well. He's citing the non-penalty decision against Lee Buchanan in December. Do you remember that, where a drop ball was given, which was just really weird? Rooney kept that receipt, and he didn't feel like shaking his hand. No idea what went on, but it was pretty clear Colin didn't want to let it go, because he was trying to go back and have 2 or 3 bites at Tunnicliffe, and then he was mouthing off with Nathan Jones, and there was something with the sub goalkeeper as well. Now, Tunnicliffe and Kazim Richards were chirping a little bit during the Nathan Byrne incident with Dewsbury Hall. Why can't I remember that name? Them two were chirping a little bit, and I remember Kazim Richards just going, "Oi, shut up!" and the guy walking off, and then he comes back and chips back at Kazim. So maybe it was a bit of aftermath from that. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I'm honestly not sure what went on at full time. Let's get to you guys. Good evening, Charlie. Hello, mate. Sam just answered that. Love you too, Charlie. that was weird. Don't know why I did that. That was really weird. We got, although they did. Yeah, they did. I mean, they did miss a couple of chances. In fairness to Derby, though, they also missed chances. Kamil Jóźwiak, he checked inside during injury time. He checked inside when I felt he could have gone out on the outside and tested Slugger. But he pulled it back to Jason Knight, who then gets his shot blocked. Derby wasted their own chances, and that's football, isn't it? Luton wasted their chances, but Derby, on the other hand, could have had more than the 2 that they got. So, 2-0 is one of those just good professional scorelines, ain't it? So we take it. How was Lawrence's overall game? Yeah, good. he was a bit gassed in the second half, but that's natural because he's just coming back from a lengthy layoff and he's playing his way into fitness. I know he got some minutes for Wales, but it's going to take a minute. He just tries to beat players, and that's something that I felt Derby have lacked. He'll keep on going at players. First half, he had a couple where he didn't win those one-on-ones, and in the second half, he was a lot more lively. Wins the penalty, has another run just after that where he takes on sort of 3-4 players and gets in the box again, and then checks inside there, and think his shot gets blocked or he plays it across. So yeah, he was good. He was good. I think certainly enough to start on Monday. Where's the hat? Come on, man! I've just got home from work. I don't get dressed up for that. Don't put the hat on for this. I've combed the hair out today as well. Are we likely to see I before the end of the season? No. Yeah, AC answered that. Man of the match for you, Charlie. That's a tough one. I tell you what, maybe because my heart hurts from a little bit, but I felt compelled to give it to Waghorn a little bit. Like, he really was that good when he was on the pitch. He was probably their best player when he was on the pitch. Nathan was excellent again. Nathan was really, really good. Maybe Max or Tom. Max was excellent today. Max was really, really good. As I outlined at the start, he was playing with a lot more. His passes had a lot more zip in them. He played a game that I think we hoped he would play more of, and he was filling in the role of what had been missing since Bielik had been out of the side. His passes were sharp, they were on time, lots of fizz in them. His first instinct was to always go forwards, or at least out wide, and get those guys into the mix. I thought he was really good. Oh man, it's tough. It's tough because they were all good. They were all just really, really good. Even Marshy with the 2 saves there. I'm gonna give it Nathan. No, Tom. No, all of them. Fuck it. Do you think we could get Clark on permanent next year, Sam? There is no chance under God's hot sun that Derby get Matt Clark for anything less than £5 million. Just won't happen. Now, Ben White. This looks like the summer that Ben White moves on from Brighton. And at some point, Brighton need to figure out what they have in Matt Clark, right? So I think he's on a 4-year deal. But either way, it's been 2 years and they've not had a game out of him yet. They kind of need to figure that out, right? They're not going to pay this money for Matt Clark and never see what he's made of in their team. They need to figure that out. And I don't think they'll let him go on loan 3 straight years in a row, particularly as they've got their own centre-back sort of issues to sort out in terms of 1 or 2 of those are probably going to leave this summer. Derby will be looking north of the $4 million that Brighton paid for him. They just would, particularly because he was their player of the year last year, and he could be in with winning it this year as well. So Brighton would probably look at that and they'd probably want 6, 7, 8 million, right? Derby couldn't even pay their wages for 2 months this year. I don't think they're stumping up 8 million. Roughly, like between 4 and 8 million for Matt Clark. It just won't happen. Any idea what happened with CKR in the tunnel? Yeah, honestly, no idea. I think it might have been something to carry on from the burn incident earlier, but yeah, no idea really what happened there. I suppose we'll find out in due course. Any contract updates? The update is there are no updates until Derby's championship status is confirmed and until ownership has some clarity around it. 2 things Rooney spoke about in the press. It looks like Wycombe, Wycombe, and Davis will just be playing out their deals, and you kind of have to roll the dice and see what happens. Do you know anything about this dream takeover that John Percy mentioned? No, not really. I dream in what sense? Dream as in dream figment of all your imaginations, all our imaginations, or dream as in because BZI was the dream takeover. But no, I don't know. The takeovers that we're aware of are the Eric Alonso discussions and American investment. They're the 2 that I'm aware of. They're the 2 that we've been aware of. So yeah, and also the Athletic has broken all of Derby's takeover stories this year. BZI, that was myself and Matt Slater. Eric Alonso, that was Matt Slater and David Ornstein. I just take the chance to dap up my colleagues when they break a story, particularly as big as this, whenever I can. And that won't stop here. My show, my fucking rules. I say my show, it's our show. If you don't watch, then it don't exist. You think Wayne sticks with Forsyth for the running? Always makes a difference defensively. Maybe, yeah. It was interesting, actually, Chris, because Rooney had mentioned that the reason he went back to this back five, counting Marshall, was because he said that was the back five that got a lot of clean sheets in the early going, and he wanted to go back to that. So, yeah, it is interesting that he went that way, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him stick with it. He did say that Tedden was very unfortunate to go to the bench because of that, but that was the decision that Rooney made. Tedden Mengia will be at Derby next season, barring anything crazy. Tedden will be at Derby next season. Rooney said he definitely wants him back. It sounds like they've kind of got a verbal agreement that Tedden will go back, because Rooney said, well, it's just about the player. And then he kind of went, well, it depends if Man United want this or that or this, but it's about the player. If Tedden wants to come back to Derby, he'll be back at Derby, and I imagine he wants to come back and get a full pre-season and senior season under his belt. Not a slight on him, but he's been generous. Do you think the midfield shape looks a bit more balanced without him? Dad Gamer, that's interesting, actually. I'm not sure. I think... I don't think it looks unbalanced with him. I think I think him and Shinnie are very similar. I think him and Shinnie are really, really similar. And I think Bird, for some of the slack that he gets at times, I think he is the most technically gifted of that midfield trio in there. So I think if you've got one of Shinnie and Knight in there, and then one of like Bird in there, or Bielik when he's fit, yeah, I think that's a perfect balance, because we were seeing that with Bielik and Shinnie, right? They're really, really good together because they complement each other's strengths and hide each other's weaknesses really well. I kind of think that's what Shinnie and Bird did today. So I wouldn't say more balanced, maybe a bit more balanced. Maybe, yeah, maybe just a touch, just in terms of the skill set that I think Bird brings with him. Where are we? Very happy with that today. We're almost there. Yeah, I think they two more wins Rooney's targeting out of 7 games. It feels a lot more achievable now, particularly after this performance. It feels a lot more obtainable. Yeah. I think they could be safe by the end of this month, but let's not get too carried away on just what, because the problem for Derby has been they've produced these one-off performances before, right? So Birmingham, Swansea, even Norwich. You go right back to the start of the season and look at Norwich. That was a very different type of performance, but they still the getting some consistency now is key. Getting a little run together. Look, if they could get out of April, and let's just say they lost to they got Norwich coming to Pride Park, and they go to Swansea. If they could get out of April and they're the only 2 losses on their record, that's a really good April. Get a few draws and nick another win. That's a good April, right? If you were offered 8 points from April, you'd probably be happy with that. Going into the couple games in May that you'd probably be okay with that. Everyone losing, everyone getting negative results today as well massively helps Derby. So yeah, this has been a really, really good Friday for them. What else we got? How many strikers do we have now if the injuries are severe? Do you reckon you might have to fill the Rooney is playing? Do you know what's funny, actually? So when I asked Rooney about the injuries, I joked with him that he might have to come out of retirement, and he said, I'm not in shape for that right now. So it's nice when they win, because you can have a little bit of build a bit more rapport with managers rather than just, well, that sucked, didn't it? I think it would be Cresswell, Kazim Richards. Kazim Richards took a knock to his knee. Doesn't look too serious, Rooney said, but that's something else that they'll assess. But he looked to be moving free enough. It looked like just an impact injury, but even that was a bit of a nasty one. And Rooney said, at the time when it happened, he sort of was sighing and worrying because he thought not another one. But it would be Cresswell, it would be Kazim Richards. Now, Jack Stretton's loan was until this month, I think it expires. They can recall him. I'm not sure if they've worked out any details yet as to let Stretton stay out on loan. Jamal Hector Ingram is there until the end of the season. He's with Stevenage, I want to say. So yeah, that at the minute again that cupboard looks a little bit thin. I mean, two hamstring injuries to strike, your two starting strikers. That's just one of those things you can't really legislate for. That just kind of sucks. So yeah. Just need Swansea to beat Birmingham now. Yeah, Dan, I would have confidence in Swansea getting a positive result against Birmingham. I think Birmingham will be the last team to go, as I've said a few times. I think Rotherham are a handy outfit. The one that you want to watch out for, obviously, is that squad is small, and they've got 8 games this month, and that squad is small. So maybe they run out of a little bit of steam there. But yeah, right, guys, it's 7:20 on Good Friday. We've got all the weekend now, so I'm going to go off and enjoy my weekend. You all go off and enjoy your weekend, and we'll chat Monday, okay? We'll chat, Easter Monday. Take care, everybody. Be safe. If you're going out now and heading to parks and stuff like that, be safe out there. Enjoy yourself, and yeah, just have a good Easter. Don't vomit on eating too much chocolate, okay? Speak soon, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.